Number 11. CACHI the dog. This is a rather weird series of events, all triggered by a poodle. In October 1988, the dog named CACHI stood too close to the edge of a 13th floor apartment in the Argentinian neighborhood Caballito. The dog fell onto the sidewalk, landed on 75-year-old Marta Espina. Both the pet and the elderly woman died instantly. The incident, tragic enough as it was, didn't end there. A crowd of onlookers gathered around, including a middle-aged woman by the name of Edith Sola. She stood in the middle of the street, not paying attention to oncoming traffic. A bus didn't stop in time and hit Sola, killing her immediately. An unnamed man in the crowd who suffered from a heart condition couldn't bear the disaster surrounding him. He had a stroke, and though an ambulance rushed him to the hospital, he died before reaching the ER. Questions were asked as to why the poodle had fallen off the balcony in the first place. It's reported that it had been repaired recently, but apparently the handyman had cut corners, thus leading to the death of 3 people and a dog. Number 10. Kangaroo. During 2019, car accidents involving kangaroos reportedly set Australian drivers back $6 million due to increased insurance rates and fixing costs. The average repair cost after a crash caused by these animals is estimated to be around $4,000. A motorcyclist died in 2018 after colliding with a kangaroo on a highway in Sydney. The animal was attempting to cross the road when it was hit. The impact of the crash sent the rider flying over the safety rail. Though first aid was administered, the man ultimately died from his injuries before an ambulance could reach the scene. The kangaroo didn't survive either, and its corpse was discovered nearby. The road was closed for over 5 hours until the scene could be analyzed and cleaned up to avoid further accidents. Number 9. Turtle. LaTonya Lark was running errands with her brother, Kevin Grant, when she drove up the parkway in her local savannah. All of a sudden, something hard hit her windshield, prompting Lark to step on the brakes hard. At first, she believed that a brick had fallen on her car, missing her face by a mere few inches. Upon further inspection, they would discover that a turtle had struck the windshield instead. The shards hit her brother, but Lark managed to slow down her car and make a full stop a few feet further down the road. This was fortunate because, according to witnesses, this kept the turtle from completely crashing the glass and potentially decapitating the passenger. They only suffered from minor cuts and scrapes, and investigators hypothesized that the turtle might have been hit by another car, sending it flying onto Lark's windshield. The animal, unfortunately, didn't survive the crash. Number 8. Bear. 2 people were traveling down Highway 148 when something rather unusual happened. A bear walked right into the road, catching the driver by surprise. The car's occupants didn't have time to react, and the 300-pound black bear was shoved onto the opposite lane. It was promptly hit by an oncoming car driving in the opposite direction. The massive animal destroyed the front windshield and flew through the back window. The driver and passenger from the first car managed to survive. Meanwhile, an unnamed 25-year-old Ottawa resident and her friend, who was sitting in the back seat of the second car, died in the accident. The driver's boyfriend, the third passenger, was rushed to the hospital, but his wounds weren't lethal. The police told the media that this was the first fatal vehicular accident in the area caused by a bear, though several non-lethal mishaps had been reported up to that point. Number 7. Giraffe. A researcher specializing in African wild dogs was preparing to land his Cessna 172 on an airstrip in Botswana. When the unnamed man's 4-seat single-engine aircraft reached the ground, he was shocked by a giraffe suddenly wandering right onto the landing pad. The animal was struck and died upon impact, and the aircraft was destroyed beyond repair. Fortunately, the pilot survived with only minor injuries. In another bizarre incident, an 18-foot giraffe crashed against a bus transporting tourists in a safari in South Africa. The animal fell onto an oncoming car driven by a Swiss man and his wife. The driver had to be hospitalized due to the severity of the injuries he'd sustained. Though he survived, the giraffe wasn't quite as lucky. It died from its wounds shortly after the crash. Giraffes running into traffic are becoming a growing problem around several areas in Africa, and the authorities have yet to have found ways of dealing with the animals. Number 6. Molly the puppy. Tina Springer had a brush with death after an accident involving her puppy, and a gun landed her in the ER. The 44-year-old dog owner was taking a ride with her 7-month-old Labrador, Molly, in a car driven by her friend. Springer's loaded pistol rested on the center console. Spooked by the sound of a train passing by, Molly jumped onto the gun, causing it to go off. The driver immediately parked and called 911. The operator was stunned, asking the caller, "The dog shot her?" After getting over the initial shock, the emergency dispatcher helped the driver apply a tourniquet using his belt while waiting for the ambulance to arrive. The woman was in shock and didn't think she was going to make it, so she urged her friend to tell her children that she loved them. Luckily, Springer underwent surgery and managed to make a full recovery. Number 5. Spotted eagle ray. Judy K. Zagorski, a 55-year-old Michigan woman, was enjoying a vacation in Florida with her family and friends, where they decided to take a trip on a local boat. Zagorski was at the front of the vessel when suddenly a spotted eagle ray leapt from the water and struck her on the face. Her father tried to help her, but it was too late. The animal weighed 75 to 80 pounds, and the impact was strong enough to cause craniocerebral trauma, resulting in the woman's death. The accident had occurred off the coast of Marathon Key, about 2 hours away from Miami. Zagorski was declared dead upon reaching the shore. The ray didn't survive the crash either, and marine experts analyzed its body. It was considered a highly unusual crash. Though rays frequently leap out of the water, they rarely hit boats. Number 4. Crocodile. In 2010, an incident involving a smuggled crocodile on board of a Tourmalet passenger aircraft caused an accident that led to the death of 20 passengers. Only one person managed to survive the unusual crash, which occurred in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The crocodile broke free and panic ensued, causing the airplane's occupants to rush toward the front of the craft. This disrupted its balance, shifting the center of gravity, making it unable for pilots to regain control. The crash site was a house 0.6 miles away from the intended runway. The only survivor testified that a crocodile had been hidden in a duffel bag and had managed to bite its way out. Surprisingly, the animal survived the crash. However, it was killed with a machete when first responders arrived at the site of the accident. Number 3. Elephant. An unnamed 1-year-old girl was visiting the Rabat Zoo in Morocco with her family when she became the victim of a deadly incident involving an elephant. The animal picked up a rock with its trunk and threw it out of its enclosure. The stone somehow got past the fence, separating the public from the animal, and struck the child on the head. She was taken to the hospital and attended to by the doctors, but it was too late. She died a few hours later. Since she was a minor, her name was not disclosed to the media. This kind of behavior is highly unusual in elephants, though it can happen when the animal grows frustrated. Experts don't believe that the attack targeted anyone in particular. The incident was recorded by a bystander and then uploaded to YouTube. It shows people gathering around trying to help the little girl before the ambulance arrives. Number 2. Camel. A wandering camel was responsible for the death of 5 family members after walking into traffic in Yeruham, Israel. Orly and Shimon Turgeman, along with their children Rotem and Rom, were killed on the spot when their car crashed against the camel. The eldest son, Shlomi, was rushed to the hospital and remained in critical condition. Authorities didn't report whether he'd managed to survive his injuries. The 5th member of the family to die was not in the car, but perished as a direct result of the incident. Shimon's mother was notified of the crash by authorities. She was pain-stricken and suffered a heart attack due to the shock. That same year, 7 other people died from similar crashes in the area, all involving camels causing collisions. A council member attempted to solve the problem by requiring camel owners to paint fluorescent stripes on the backs of the beasts, making it easier for them to be spotted by drivers. Before we move on, official They Will Kill You merchandise is now available at theywillkillyou.com. It's out of this world. Number 1. Zebra. In 2019, 2 zebras escaped from a circus in Germany, fleeing onto a motorway. This disrupted incoming traffic, with several cars crashing and being badly damaged. It wasn't clear how the animals managed to break free, but while one of them meekly returned to its handlers when found, the other ran up and down the A20 highway. Fortunately, the multiple crashes didn't lead to any fatal injuries, but the road had to be temporarily closed. The rebellious zebra refused to be captured by authorities or its handlers, and even managed to damage a patrol car. After several attempts to capture it alive, the animal was shot to death to avoid further accidents. Thanks for watching. Have you ever been hurt by an animal? Let us know in the comments section below.